Hi everyone, I'm Jordan from Evolving Song Holistic Wellness, and I'm the owner of A State of Health, the wellness center and yoga studio in Kingsville, Ontario. It is my hope that I will get to someday be in the studio with you. All of my online class takers, I thank you so much for being with me over the last few months as COVID has prevented us from being in person together. I really look forward to the day that we can be back together. In the meantime, we are continuing our series of the chakras, exploring the chakras one by one. And if you've been with me for the last 6 weeks, thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. I really hope that some of the information that I've offered here might be insightful, something maybe new or interesting things to contemplate in your practice, and to bring some of the activities, some of the tools and techniques that I've offered here into your practice on the mat and also into life. Because as we know, yoga doesn't end when our practice ends on the mat. Yoga is a continuous process of awareness and finding unity, or that connection between mind, body, and spirit at all times. So today we are finally at the Crown Chakra. Sahasrara is the Sanskrit name for our beautiful 1,000-petaled lotus that resides here at the crown of the head. Sahasrara, the Sanskrit word for the 7th chakra, or what's referred to often as the Crown Chakra, actually means thousandfold, or the 1,000-petaled lotus, which is this really beautiful image of almost an infinitely unfolding, blossoming lotus at the crown of our heads, which is empowered and opened up through our awareness of self. So this is a very beautiful area for us to explore in terms of our energy practice and our spiritual practice. As you know, as we've talked about before, yoga is so much more than just a physical practice to promote well-being in the body and the mind. Obviously, we've done a lot of meditations throughout this series, so a lot of our yoga practice is devoted to containing, directing the mind, switching out some of our negative thought patterns for more beneficial ones, and also seeking that place of stillness in the mind where we can simply just be and stop doing, thinking, projecting, judging, whatnot. So when we are using our yoga and our meditative practice, we can often feel this gentle opening up of the crown chakra, and this is where we receive. This is where that heavenly energy, or the divine energy, that source light, funnels into our embodied beings. That, as we are divine beings, and this is that connection to the sacred. In whatever religious background you have, whatever spiritual practices you have, the one thing that we see across religious traditions that's common is the idea that there is a spark of light within us, or there is an essence of divinity within each one of us. We are a part of the universe is a part of us, we are one. So this is really something that I contemplate when I am doing my meditation on the crown chakra, or when I want to focus my practice on the crown chakra. So we have worked over the last several weeks at grounding ourselves, getting in touch with our earthly elements, getting in touch with our emotions, and experiencing fluidity in the body as we're going into the 2nd chakra, moving up into our solar plexus, getting in touch with what our sources of inner power, our inner drive and will, matching that with intention, We've been exploring connection, reaching out to others, and also cultivating a connection to our higher selves and bringing that back into a space of compassion. Moving up into the throat chakra, we've explored using sound. We've explored using mantra, chanting, using our voice, and creative ways to express ourselves, even in our yoga practice, to help bring harmony to all of the tones of chakras. Last week, we focused here on the ajna. I called it ajna, but I must ask for your forgiveness. I have recently learned that the proper way to pronounce the Sanskrit word for the sixth chakra is actually more like anya. You know that enya symbol that we see in Spanish language over the N? Or like the sound of the word gnocchi when the G is in front of the N, is that nya sound? That is actually how we're supposed to pronounce the ajna or anya chakra. So in that class last week, our focus was on connecting with our intuition, cultivating a sense of inner knowing and connecting with that guiding light within us. Well, now, of course, we're moving in to complete the cycle here at our Sahasrara, the Crown Chakra. So I would like to touch on a few of the same logistical, I guess, things that we talked about in the previous classes. So for the Crown Chakra, the element associated with it is pure consciousness. Some lineages say that it contains all the elements and is no thing all at once because it is pure potential, pure divine energy, pure consciousness. And our awareness of our consciousness that we can reach through concentration and meditation, pranayama, our breath work, this is when we're really starting to hang out in the Crown Chakra. And the color associated with it is thought often as just white or just pure light. But also from another lineage, we also have the idea of it being a violet color. Very light, very etheric. Sometimes people visualize just pure golden light. So this is where, it's all up to your direct experience. There are so many different schools of thought in yoga that can, guide us in one way or another. But coming back to honing our intuition, these are really just to be guides for us. And it is about practice, steady practice that leads us to experiencing our own reality, our own perception of the experience. And so when you're doing your visualization, or if you're meditating and you start to see a beautiful light, just trust that that is true for you, and that's just as it should be. So that's really a nice way to think of it. That's the way I think of it anyhow. It's the most important part of our practice is that it's true, it's authentic when it comes from within us. So, what else? Okay, we've also touched on deficient and excessive expressions of these chakras in the previous classes. So when we're thinking about someone who might have excessive energy, and sometimes that's not the best way to think about it. Sometimes it's an excessive focus on this area. That tends to be that person who may be very spiritual, may have lots of beautiful meditations, and they are very intuitive, perhaps clairvoyant, clairaudient, any of these more subtle senses where they're very much in tune, but they're not very embodied. They're not very grounded here. Perhaps they don't know how to integrate that wisdom and that information back into this reality, into this finite life that we're living. Remember, we've talked about before in this series, there are channels of energies that rise up through the body and through the chakra system. But it's also important for us to remember that those channels of energy come right back down to the base of the spine, to the base of our chakras. And so we can be, if we're hyper focused on elevating our energy and really accessing a higher realm of consciousness, that's all fine and beautiful. But it's really important that we know how to bring that information back into this life so that we can use it to improve our situation and to improve the lives of others and to bring ultimately this whole planet closer to harmony. So that's what excess looks like. When we talk about deficiencies in the crown chakra, this might be somebody who feels that they have no connection or a very limited understanding of spirituality. Maybe they are very much in their body. Maybe they treat their body like a temple, but they don't cultivate those more the mental disciplines of meditation and concentration and opening to something higher, so that they don't even get to experience that connection to God or spirit, Brahman, this source-like consciousness. So this can be really disheartening for people. They can feel really disconnected. Maybe they don't feel like there is a higher power, and they tend to be a little bit more stuck here in the physical realm, maybe a little bit more egotistical. So this is how we can sort of witness excessive and deficient energies of the Sahasrara, the crown chakra, in others. And of course, when we're looking and we're seeking that balance, that beautiful state of sattva, we are connected. We feel like, we allow ourselves to open up in awareness of something higher and greater than us. And we bring that back into our being now. So we can go about our day-to-day lives being mindful or remembering who we really are, which is something much more sacred than just this physical being. Or maybe I shouldn't say not as sacred, because our bodies are sacred. I think of our bodies as our temples. But it's that idea of understanding and remembering who we really are. At our essence, we are the same divine essence, the same energy that is penetrating all things in existence. So it's a really exciting, it's a very freeing, very liberating concept. So I'd like to help us embody this through a meditation, and I'll guide you in this meditation. So just take a few moments and find a nice comfortable seat to sit in, okay? You can prop yourself up if you like. You're welcome to sit on a bolster or a cushion. A rolled up blanket is nice too. Ideally, we can have our knees resting down and open so that our hips are a little bit above the knees. Oh, feeling that breeze right now. It's beautiful. I love this shifting wild weather. It really helps us to sense and feel and get excited about the elements, and reminding us that those elements are also within us. So anyhow, let's get comfortable and get started. You can rest your hands on your lap here, or a nice mudra that I like to invite for this one is to place the right hand on top of the left hand and touch the thumb tips together. And we'll just let those palms rest in the lap. Now in this meditation, I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey from the base chakra, our first chakra, all the way up to the crown chakra. I'll invite you to think about and sense or feel or even listen to the elements associated with each chakra. And I will be chanting the seed sound of each chakra. Now this seed sound or bija mantra doesn't exactly have a meaning. It's simply the vibrational frequency that seems to be quite harmonious with these energy centers. So I'll chant each seed sound 3 times, and you're welcome to just listen, or if you like, you can repeat after me as well. Okay, so go ahead and close your eyes. Drop the tailbone down towards the earth. Lift the heart up. Relax your shoulders down and away from your ears. Let the back of the neck begin to lengthen and the crown of the head stretch upwards towards the heavens. From here, we'll take a nice deep breath in, expanding the belly in all directions. Exhaling completely, we pull the belly in, drawing the rib cage closed. Inhaling deeply, the belly expands, the rib cage opens, the chest opens, and our clavicles lift. Exhaling completely, the chest, the ribs, and the belly all contract inwards towards the center line of the body. We'll bring our focus to the seat bones, the legs, the hips, and the feet, feeling our connection to the earth, and bringing your inner eye down to the base of the tailbone, the space between the sit bones and the pelvic bone, or the pubic bone, I should say. And here you may begin to visualize, to create the image behind the closed eyes of a glowing red, beautiful wheel of energy, our first chakra. As you breathe in, this red glow expands. And we begin to cultivate a sense of connection to the earth, to the mud and the soil, the roots of trees, the rock, the magma, the center or core of the earth. Noticing the density in the body and how it relates to the earth. Lam. Next inhale, we'll bring our focus upwards slightly towards the center of our pelvis, just below the belly button, the place between and slightly above the hips. And here we imagine or we visualize a beautiful glowing orange light, an orange swirling wheel, our second chakra. Here we begin to cultivate a sense of fluidity. The water element moves through the body in the form of blood, lymph, saliva, placental sac, all that amniotic fluid, all the different types of fluid in the body, swaying and swirling. We can think about the ocean, how it ebbs and flows, and how too our emotional selves fluctuate. Just notice what you sense and what you feel in this area. And your next inhale, our attention, our focus will rise, entering into the golden sphere, that swirling yellow wheel of the third chakra, as we land here in the core of our body, just above the navel center. This beautiful beam of light that expands with every breath relates to the fire element. We begin to cultivate an understanding and knowing of our inner heat, our inner fire. Notice what sensations are here, what thoughts come to mind, what words are rung through your ears as you focus on the solar plexus. Ram. 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 Inhaling and lifting your awareness now to the heart center, the space in the middle of the chest, in between the top of our chest and the backest part of our back, right in the center, our beautiful green, glowing chakra, the heart, Anahata. As we breathe in deeply here, we connect with the element of air and notice how we cultivate air in our life. Spaciousness, ease of movement and fluidity, openness and expanse. As you rest with your attention on the heart chakra, notice what feelings, sensations, memories, or words come to mind. Yam. On your next inhale, we journey upwards into the throat chakra, where here we envision a beautiful bright blue light. This vortex of energy, this wheel or chakra, glows with every inhale, expanding around the neck, the shoulders, and the jaw. Our throat chakra. Again, become aware of the sensations around this area. What feelings arise? What thoughts or emotions? breathing in, we rise up and meet the center of our brain as we open our awareness to the Anya chakra, our sixth chakra, or our third eye center. Here we envision a clear blue or indigo light, a combination of blue and violet and any other hue that may exist here. Watch this wheel turn and spin and begin to expand with every inhale as we open and become aware of our sixth chakra. Inhaling again, our gaze and our attention lifts up to the crown of our head, our crown chakra. And here we envision a pure white light, perhaps dappled with hues of beautiful violet radiance. And this light expands upward and outward in all directions, and we cultivate a sense of connection to the inner light of all beings, to that source or divinity that expresses itself in this physical realm, but also is boundless and infinite. Cultivate a sensation or feeling of connection to our higher selves, to that divine light, as we focus on the crown chakra. Sit here for a moment in silence and stillness, observing the chakras, noticing how you feel, remaining present with your breath, embodied here and now. We'll take a deep breath in. Bring the hands in front of the heart center, separating the palms about 4 inches. And we'll start rotating the hands in a forward circle around each other, just in front of the heart center. Focusing on the space between the hands. Increase the pace of this turning, this wheel-like motion. Keeping the spine nice and straight, keep the shoulders relaxed. And we'll begin to sense and feel a bit of a charge, some magnetism or electricity, perhaps sensing it as a pulling sensation or a tingling sensation here in the palms of the hands. Pause the movement, feel, sense, just bring your attention between the hands. Now bring the hands over top of the eyes and gently hover them over or press the palms into the eyes, over the forehead, absorbing some of this radiant energy. Now slowly lower the hands down the jaw, the cheeks, bring them over the ears, back around the back of the head, and down the neck. Now we'll very lightly, very gently place our hands over top of the throat. Breathing in here, gifting yourself the energy through the hands, enlivening this throat chakra. As we exhale, lower the hands down to the heart center. Once again, inhale, receive through this heart space. On your next exhale, lower the hands over the the solar plexus, our navel chakra. Again, inhale, receiving here. One more breath. Now we'll turn the fingers down and bring the thumbs and pointer fingers to touch. Lower this triangle down, pressing the fingers onto the pubic bone. Again, breathing in and allowing yourself to receive energy through the second chakra here. One more breath. Exhaling, we'll bring the hands to the hip creases. Our thumbs and forefingers will press into those hip creases. Draw the elbows back, really press down here. Grounding those hips down, giving yourself a good amount of pressure. The heart and the head lifts, but the body is pressing down into the earth, receiving the energy here. Now we'll let the hands sweep down across the thighs a couple of times, brushing down towards the earth. Circle the knees with the hands a few times. Let your legs go in front of you a little bit. Go down the calves, down the shins, sending that energy back down. Continuing to close that loop. Grab a hold of your ankles. Give your heels a squeeze. Now we'll bring the thumb to the inner edge of the heel and create a line, drawing the thumb all the way up to the big toe, back to the heel, all the way down the middle of the foot to the second toe, and on throughout those toes, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe, our pinky toe. Now we'll cup over top of the heels again with our palms and just give them a nice squeeze. Nice. Beautiful. So we'll come back into our easy pose. We'll just take a moment to notice how we're feeling. Notice in the body. Notice in the heart and the emotions. Take a couple nice deep sighs, breathing in through the nose, letting it go through the mouth. Remembering our connection to all things, to the whole universe. We'll bring the hands together in our prayer pose and we'll lower the hands to the heart. I recognize that divine place within you. Namaste. So you're welcome to stay here and lie down, perhaps enjoy some nice shavasana, or if you like, you can stay seated and meditate for as long as you like. This has been an absolute pleasure for me to practice over these last 7 weeks with you, journeying through the chakras. If you have any questions or would like to discuss any of this further, please feel free to reach out, either message underneath the post on Facebook or personal message me. You're welcome to email me as well. It has been been an absolute pleasure. I thank you so, so much for joining me. Be well. Sat Nam.